Apple has just released tons of new features in Apple Music in 2026. That's why in this video, I'm going to be showing you every single one of them. And I can assure you there are so many of them that you didn't know about. Let's get started with my personal favorite new feature inside of Apple Music, and it's actually inside of ChatGPT. Because as you can see, Apple has just released a brand new Apple Music feature inside of ChatGPT. What you're gonna want to do is tap on the plus icon, scroll down to where it says Apple Music. So you'll have the Apple Music plugin activated. If you don't see Apple Music inside of here, you're gonna want to scroll to the left where it says library and then find Apple Music. Once you've got the plugin installed inside of ChatGPT, you're gonna be able to create playlists based on whatever prompt you ask it. I'm gonna give you 3 different examples so you can understand the potential that a feature like this has. For example, Fame by Travis Scott has this super epic intro that I just absolutely love. So I can basically ask ChatGPT now, can you give me a playlist with a bunch of music that have epic intros like Travis Scott's Fame? I want all of the songs to have such epic energy in the beginning. I can now send that in, and now ChatGPT will hand select a bunch of songs based on this prompt. There we go. It is now creating it. Boom, it says this is perfect for gym sessions, video edits. Once that's done, if you go back to Apple Music, you're gonna have a curated playlist made by ChatGPT with its title, with its own description, and most importantly, you've got a bunch of songs that have epic intros like the one that I just asked. Isn't that so freaking cool? Here's another example on how this can be really useful. For example, I've got my studio playlist, right? I can now take screenshots of my playlist, and I can now add these images right here. I can add those in, add my Apple Music, create a playlist based on these songs on my playlist, make it very good, make it as similar as the images that I have right here, create a playlist inside of Apple Music. And boom, just like that, it now created the track list that I can later on add to my Apple Music library. The potential of this is huge to, one, discover new music, to get recommendation based on music you like, on an artist you like, or a perfect example, if you're a video editor, for example, if you want a bunch of songs that are similar to this intro, to this certain instrument style, you can create all of this with ChatGPT. The second new Apple Music feature that you gotta know about is actually inside of your phone settings. You scroll down, tap on apps, and then scroll over to music right there. And inside of there, there's actually a brand new feature right here, which says transfer music from other services. If you tap on this feature, you're gonna get access to SongShift, which is basically a new feature that lets you transfer your subscription to Apple Music. So for example, if you're a Spotify user, you can tap on Spotify and it will let me transfer all of my playlists from Spotify to Apple Music. It is as simple as logging into your Spotify account and then tap to add to library. And boom, just like that, transfer will automatically start soon. So if you've got Amazon Music or Spotify and you're ready to switch to Apple Music, Apple has obviously made this extremely easy. As you can see, it just added a bunch of my library from Spotify to Apple Music. Once it's done, it should show you transfer complete, 26 songs, 2 albums, and 3 playlists. You can tap on OK. And it's that simple. The third new feature you gotta know about is Apple Music's new gestures. There's a couple gestures you gotta know about. So if you wanna skip a song, you've always had this button right here, which basically lets you skip songs. But now you can simply swipe to the right, and it is that simple to do so. If you wanna go back on a song, you simply swipe to the other way, but it's extremely fast and it makes it very, very easy to skip songs. Now, apart from full screen, there's also a gesture that if you swipe right here, you can also, as you can see, skip song. If you swipe up the other way, you'll also go back to your previous song. Also, when you're in search, you can simply swipe to the left to go back to your main menu. And then Apple Music has also added liquid glass all over the UI. And this isn't really a gesture, but it's a very satisfying thing to do inside of Apple Music. You can simply see this beautiful animation. Like before, you kind of did this to scroll through the UI. But now you can also do this and see this beautiful liquid glass animation. Not something useful, but definitely something beautiful to look at. The next new feature inside of Apple Music is this right here. Did you see where it said mixing? That's a new feature called Automix. Now, I've already explained it here in the channel before, but it's basically a new transition mode that mixes songs like a DJ. It's not just a basic fade that we've had before. Apple Music will basically analyze the end of the audio track and the beginning of the next track, and create transitions using time stretching and even beat matching for continuous playback. There you go, it's now doing it. Again, you obviously have to do this for yourself to listen to it. It will sometimes do it longer, it will sometimes get rid of the intro and go straight to the middle of the song. It's truly amazing and it truly feels like a DJ. Now to activate this feature, you're gonna want to tap on these three dots right here and make sure you have this little icon right here activated. That is the Automix icon. You can activate or deactivate it. And if you want the crossfade feature and you don't like Automix, you can still change that going inside of Apple Music settings. You can tap on song transitions, tap right here, and then you can totally deactivate any sort of transitions. What this will basically do is once a song is done, it will be done, and then it will go straight to the other. And then if you want a simple crossfade, you can tap on it, and then you can select the duration of the crossfade. You can basically make it extremely long, but it won't match the beat. You don't gotta forget about that. What crossfade will do is basically turn down the volume when a song ends and keep pulling the other one up, instead of being super intelligent. That's why I love Automix so much. If you want to deactivate it, customize it, well, it's all inside of song transition settings inside of Apple Music settings. Now, before I continue giving you my favorite Apple Music tricks, let me tell you about today's sponsor, the Antigravity A1, which is the world's first 360 drone that lets you relive your flights in full 8K 360. You put on the goggles and you feel like you're flying with it. You can look around freely as you fly. The vision goggles are extremely lightweight, and each eye gets extremely sharp. It's got a 2.5K micro OLED display. Even got an outer display in the goggles. It becomes a shared experience since the people next to you can also see what you're looking at. My favorite part of the whole experience is how you control it. With free motion, you basically point wherever you want the drone to go. Down, left, or right, you simply pull the trigger and tell the drone where to go. It is extremely intuitive. You can pick the whole experience up in just a couple seconds. And because the drone is 360, it's got a bunch of cameras all around it. So instead of stressing on framing the right shot, you basically just fly wherever you want and then you frame it later. You do that with the Antigravity app. It's extremely easy. And you've even got an auto edit mode, so it lets AI edit for you. Right now, there's a 15% flash sale, plus this free landing pad if you use my code. If you want to pick one up, you know what to do. You can hit the link down below in the description. Now let's go back to my favorite Apple Music features. Next up is a feature that you probably didn't know about, but I can assure you, you're not using it right. Because yes, Apple Music now allows us to pin albums, playlists, songs, artists, inside of our Apple Music library. To do that, you're gonna want to simply select an album. For example, Central C's I Can't Rush Greatness. You're gonna simply hold on the album and you see pin album right there. You're gonna want to touch that. So you can see you've now pinned it. So if you go back, boom, just like that, your album will now be pinned inside of your pins. Now, did you know that you can actually reorder these just by holding, and you can simply put it on the second one, the first one, whatever you want. Another feature you probably didn't know is if you tap on this, you can actually select an action on your pins. If you tap on that, it will give you three different options. One, you can go to the playlist. What that will basically do is you tap on that and it will open up the playlist. The second option is it will automatically play. So you can simply tap on that. It won't open, but it will directly, so you can see, start playing the playlist directly. You can still open it technically if you hold and then tap again, just like this. I'll show you again. Boom, that's how you open it. But if you don't, boom, just like that, you're now playing it. The third option is my personal favorites for different things, which is the shuffle one. So you can see it will change the different icons right here, these little icons right here. What that will do is you simply tap on it and it will automatically shuffle the playlist for you. Now, this feature is incredibly useful on the iPhone, but where it gets unbelievably useful is in Apple CarPlay. This is honestly where I use this feature the most. I open up my car, I open up Apple Music, and I tap on my favorite playlists from Apple, the top 100 in Spain, today's hits, and new music daily. And like this, every single time I tap on a playlist, it will always show me new music. Like this, in the car, whenever I tap on it, it will automatically always show me new music, and I won't always be listening to the same songs in order. There's always new music, definitely very useful. On the other hand, I don't like the shuffle feature on an album, for example. I love listening to Rosalia's Lux in order because that's the way the artist intended the album to go. But a playlist, I mean, come on, I just want to listen to new songs. And what's cool about this, see it changing right here. I can simply keep on tapping and it will automatically shuffle through different songs just like that. Another feature you're gonna love about pins is if you go back to Apple Music settings, there is this toggle right here where it says download pins. So basically anything that you add as a pin inside of your Apple Music library, Apple Music will automatically download those songs offline. To prove it to you, I can go to downloaded and boom, all of the pins that I've got in my Apple Music library. So you can see there's the downloaded icon right here. All of these songs are now available offline. Definitely also very useful, especially in Apple CarPlay, where you're in a road trip and you don't have any cellular service. You'll still be able to listen to all of those songs. Also, another amazing new feature that Apple Music has added is inside of the lyrics. If you tap on this little icon right here, you'll now have access to live translation inside of Apple Music. So if you like Bad Bunny, for example, and you have no idea and you do not understand anything from his Spanish, well, boom, you can now go right here and so you can see it will keep on translating. So you can see he's saying si te quieres divertir, which means if you want to have fun with charm and style. It's such an awesome new feature. And it's not just in Spanish and English. For example, APT by Rose, boom, this is in Korean and it's automatically translating all of that in English. Apple actually lets you customize what shows up as the larger text. Inside of Apple Music settings, you're gonna want to tap on lyrics and then larger text. And what you tap on here, you can either select what you want the larger text to be, whether you want the lyrics or the pronunciation. So the pronunciation, for example, instead of the large text that it was in Korean, it will literally show you how you can pronounce that Korean. So it's apate. You get it, right? A new feature as well that is definitely welcome is folders inside of your playlist. To create a folder, it's very simple. You simply hold on a playlist and drop it inside of another one. Boom. You can also tap on the plus right here and it will allow you to create a new playlist or create a new folder. A good example for this, if you've got kids, you could add kids music. So you can basically have all of your library there and then all of your kids music kind of hidden inside of your library. What I've personally done is also create a folder with all of my made by Apple playlists. So basically all of the playlists that Apple has made that I listen to, I keep adding them right here, but you can obviously organize anything. For example, you can add your playlist of your certain decades. So if you've got your 70s, your 80s, and your 90s different playlists, you can add all of those into your decades playlist. You get the point. Apple in iOS 26 also added these beautiful full screen live artwork. Now, these are some of my personal favorites. My favorite thing about them is that they're actually interactive. As you can see, Woody's eyes are actually moving. In Stitch right here, there's certain things flying over him. These turtles right here, which is definitely a lot of fun. You've got lightning scrolling to and the fire in Bad Bunny's album. After Hours from The Weeknd kind of shines. There's a bunch of really cool ones. Justice by Justin Bieber has this really cool highway effect. And Coldplay's ones are honestly one of my personal favorites. They're just beautiful. And what's cool about these live artworks as well is if you go on your lock screen, it will actually transform your entire lock screen into the live artworks, which look absolutely amazing. When you turn off, the always on display will still show them, but they won't be animated. It will still show you the time and the date, but every time they're just so cool. I mean, come on, they're absolutely amazing. And then when an album isn't animated, it will still show, but it won't go full screen and it will obviously not be animated. Something you gotta know that's definitely very important is if you wanna hide it and you wanna still listen to your music, but you don't want it to be your wallpaper, you can simply tap right here in the middle and it will bring back to your wallpaper. If you want it back again, it is that easy to do so. Another feature you're gonna love, you won't go to library, but you'll go right here into home and scroll to the very, very bottom, right here where it says replay. This is replay your top music. So you've got replay of all time. These are basically the songs that you've listened to the most out of your entire library. And then you've got every single month. For example, your replay 2025 playlist, your replay 2024 playlist. So the music you've listened to the most throughout all of the year. But what's cool, and it's kind of a hidden feature, but if you tap inside of here, you'll actually bring up your whole replay menu. And from here, you'll actually be able to see the music you've listened to the most in specific months of the year. For example, March, April, and you can see your top artists, your top songs, your top albums. And Apple Music will even give you these secret milestones. I just think there's definitely a lot of people that have no idea these milestones exist. It will basically give you, hey, you listen to 5,000 of music in 1 month. And then what's cool is you can actually tap on the share button and you can actually share your replay of that specific month to your friends and family. Seeing your top artists, your top songs is definitely a lot of fun. There's also something very underrated about Apple Music, and that isn't inside of Apple Music, but it's inside of Shazam. So Apple has completely updated Shazam throughout the years. One, it's got this beautiful liquid glass design as well. Something underrated about Shazam is if you go inside of settings, you can actually synchronize your Apple Music library. So every single time you track a song, for example, Fallen from Lauren Wood, I can tap on open on Apple Music and add it directly to my library, or I can tap on this right here and add it directly to a specific playlist of mine inside of Apple Music. There's a feature inside of Shazam that Apple Music simply doesn't have, and that is their concert section. From here, you can buy tickets. It will tell you when it is, where it is, including their set list inside of Apple Music. So you can tap on this right here and you'll be able to open the set list directly on Apple Music and listen to it, which is very cool. You can get ready for the show and it will give you a bunch of different playlists that Apple Music has, upcoming concerts, and you can do all of it right here inside of the concert section. And since it synchronizes everything with your Apple Music library, you'll be able to see all of your favorite artists and when their concerts are. Those are my personal favorite new features inside of Apple Music. Apple Music inside of the Apple TV also has a brand new feature called Sing. So it's a whole separate app that will basically transform your Apple TV into a karaoke night. You can select the song that you want from your Apple TV and then use your iPhone as a microphone so you can start singing your favorite songs away. Apple Music instead of CarPlay has also been updated to liquid glass for 2026. And there's obviously so much more. If you love Apple Music and you love Apple content like this one, you can make sure to hit that subscribe button or keep watching more of my content right here. Thank you so much for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.